Hey guys, good morning. You are live with Bubba Da Vinci. Good morning, salutations. Hope you guys are having a good day. And I guess I should say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whichever applies to you. Having a good day so far. Got up early this morning, no rain, woohoo. Although I just got a message that said, fixing to have a storm. And that is coming in from the wifey, who she works about an hour north of me. And so she left for work a couple of hours ago, or about an hour ago, and apparently the storm is just hitting there. And so she's warning about the storm coming here. So I think she was hoping that I would not do the broadcast this morning and would have gotten my ass outside and finished pushing dirt. But that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing instead is I am jumping on with you guys. I'm going to do the show like I said I'm going to do. I also made a couple of phone calls to the guys that are helping me and asked them if they could get over here immediately to push the last of the dirt into the hole so that way the rain doesn't affect everything. So, where are we? So, yesterday the contractors got here. They got here late, which was unfortunate. There was a couple of steps that I wish they had told me the day before when we said that we were going to do this project that they would have told me what needed to be done so that way I could have done it and we would have been further along. I made mention of that, but I did it very politely because I didn't want to, rustle any feathers. And unfortunately, the way that worked is they said they like to do it themselves to make sure it's done correctly. And if I had done it, they just would have gone ahead and done it again anyway. So, I mean, I guess in one sense, it was good that I didn't waste time, which gave me a little time to deal with a thing with my daughter and deal with the company stuff. But also, it kind of frustrates me because everybody here knows we're against the clock. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and type because I've gotten 3 messages now saying the storm's coming in. So I am going to send a quick message to my daughter and to those guys and let them know that we need to get a hustle. Oh yeah, I can see it in I use a weather app, and I also hear thunder, massive thunder. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm sorry to have to do this. I'm just gonna let this go, and I'm gonna throw in some music really quick. I've got to go look outside really quick to see how bad this storm is because I'm in town and everybody's got to get out there and it hits me before it hits them. So if I'm already hearing thunder, this storm's moving faster than the family said. So just give me like literally 2 minutes so I can go look outside. All right, everybody. I probably lost everybody. You turn off the music. I probably should have put a video on or something too. Um, yeah, this thing's coming in like a freight train. I actually had to go and close up all the windows on my vehicle, and then I sent messages to my daughters. And these guys are not going to be able to get the dirt pushed in prior to this thing hitting because we're already getting massive winds here. It looks like we not only are going to get rain and the thunderstorms, but the winds and everything, they're giving us a tornado watch right now. Well, and I'm saying that, but nobody needs to panic. So how it works here is a tornado watch means that the conditions are conducive. Sorry, I'm looking at all my weather apps right now. We got 4 warnings. We have a lightning alert. We have a severe storm risk with flooding. And we have a tornado watch. All here right now. That all those reds are what we're getting. So the lightning alert is basically until noon. The severe storm with flooding, oh my God, is actually from today until tomorrow, 7 a.m. With high winds, and then the tornado watches until 1 p.m. this afternoon. So I guess the storms have now gotten to us. Wow, that's really going to change my plans. I need to go get gas for the generator. And guess we can finish talking about the house at this point. There's nothing I can do. So yesterday they came out. What they had to do is they had to power wash the concrete along the perimeter of the house, which is the foundation. And then they had to blow water into the holes to break loose any loose debris and dirt from inside the cracks. And then the thing that freaked me out most was, and again, I'm sorry, this should be the last day. I don't know now, but theoretically the last day I'm dressed like Farmer John. Yeah, got the beard, got my grandpa glasses down to the end, got my Texas hat, but I got my overalls. Yeah, this is less Farmer John and more Casey Jones, the railroad guy, with my railroad overalls. But I planned on being knee deep in dirt and mud in an hour, but apparently that's not going to happen. Anyway, so the bigger thing that concerned me was then they go in with a pneumatic chisel. And if you guys, I'm going to pretend like nobody knows what anything is. A pneumatic chisel is a pneumatic just means it's hooked up to an air compressor, and instead of a engine operating it via a battery or gas, the air operates the device, whether it's a pneumatic wrench or pneumatic saw, anything. It's just operated by air. And so they brought out a compressor. They had it on the truck. Wheel it out, and they come up with this pneumatic chisel. And they get on my foundation, and they just start cracking the cement and making the hole bigger. And I was like, WTF? It's like, what are you guys doing? I just had this foundation lifted. I just had it stabilized. What are you guys doing? And their concern, which I guess made sense after they told me, but it's as a person who's paying all this money to have this done and just had these cracks go bigger, for them to widen the cracks again just blew my mind. And so the power washing is to get all the dirt off of it and loose debris. They chisel it, and then after they chisel it, they don't power wash it. They use high pressure air and blow it all off. And what they're trying to do is create a very rough but solid edge. So when they put this superstructure mortar inside there, it has something to grab onto. If it grabs onto dirt, obviously, eventually too much water or whatever will just wash it away and then it'll be gone. If it gets on loose material, loose concrete, it just breaks off and everything else. And I guess the theory is, the first 16th of an inch or whatever it is of the material on there is going to be weaker because that material has been exposed for a longer period of time, and that even if it's solid now, over the next 5-10 years, it's been compromised already. So you want to get to the more solid stuff. So, I mean, in essence, it makes sense. But each side, that's an hour's worth of prep prior to them even getting started with the filling it with this joiner, this material. And then the material, you have to do it very quickly because it has its own curing agent in there, almost like putting potassium in concrete. You guys, most of you guys are like, huh? If you have concrete and it's too wet, you can put powdered potassium into concrete, and it dries it up and makes it solid at a quicker rate. Now, you don't want to do that too fast because it needs to cure semi-naturally in order for it to bond well. It can get flaky and crack because it didn't have enough moisture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Concrete needs to dry and cure kind of like from the inside. And as it dries, water comes up to the surface or goes down below. And it's basically, as it's drying, it's pushing the water out and it cures outward. Put too much potassium in it, it all cures at the same time. Or if the potassium's not equally mixed, some can do it and you can leave wet pockets, which can cause problems and voids later on. And so, science is a wonderful thing. And so these guys have, this chemical mixed in it, so it starts curing fairly quickly. But they can also use ultraviolet light on it, on both the inside and the outside, and they bombard it, and that also helps the curing process. I didn't get into the chemistry that much with them. It's pretty cool, and that's not the only sealant or material that uses UV light. There's actually quite a few out in the market now that you can put the epoxy or the glue or whatever you want to call it, the material on it, and then when you hit it with the light, it instantly hardens and it locks for a period of time. And apparently, it must be a biochemistry. Because it hits the UV light hits it, and apparently it starts a chemical reaction or a biological reaction, and it's that the light on the outside and that stuff cures, but as it cures the things next to it, and it kind of goes in, which is the reason they can do this in a single day and cure everything, and say, okay, you can push back dirt on the same day. It's also why it's so freaking expensive. So we got. They wanted to, I didn't understand this either. They didn't do like all the way around the house on the power washing and then all the way around on the chiseling and then everything else and then do everything at the same time. They power washed the first side and then moved the power washer over, and then the chisel guy came and chiseled, and then they kind of rotated around, and then the guy came with the giant air compressor with the blower in there, blew all the material out, and the fourth guy came through, pushed the material, got it sealed on the inside and outside, ran the light, and then scraped and did everything else to make sure it was as clean as possible, but so we don't have to chisel that much. And then they moved around, as opposed to having multiple guys on one side and everything else. So it semi-worked. You have to wait about 6 hours, and maybe that's the reason. You have to wait a minimum of 6 hours before they'll let you push dirt onto it. So, by the time we were on the third side, we were pushing dirt on the first side, and we got all the dirt pushed in, got the first side in there, got it relatively level. I was not worried about leveling yesterday, and we did not use a pounder. So you come in with the giant, again, pneumatic or hydraulic machine, and almost like a jackhammer, but it's got a giant metal plate on it. And what you're doing is you're compressing the dirt going through. It's kind of like a Starbucks or wherever your coffee shop is. They put the grounds in there and they take that device and they put it inside there to push the grounds and make it solid. Then wipe it off and then put it inside the coffee maker to create a thicker area for the water to go through, and it slows down how fast the water goes through. It creates a more dense material, so you get more flavor as opposed to a loose pack. So our job was, once we got the go-ahead, was to push the dirt back in. I have markings all the way around the house to where where I want the ground level to be, because I want so much space between the dirt and where the new deck is going to be, which is, the deck should be about 8 to 10 inches above the ground, because we still have to, after we get the dirt compact inside there, we have to put a layer of pea gravel over that and then kind of tap that in. That's all going to give drainage as part of this. I also put some we call it tiling, but plastic tubing around the perimeter of the house, around 3/4 of the house, that has holes in it. And so if any water does hit the house and manages to run down the house, it will hit that tile. The water will go into the tubing, and then that's connected to a longer tube underground, and it will run away from the house underground. Basically watering, the lawn or the material further out. The goal is to get the water away from the house. Now, most people go, well, don't you have, gutters on your house and things like that? Of course we have gutters, and same thing. It's actually running into the same tube. Our gutters run to an accordion piece of plastic to get it further out, which runs into a 1-inch piece of PVC that goes in the ground and runs out about, 25 feet underground, and the water's going underground there. We don't want the water up against the house. But the problem is rain doesn't always come straight down. Snow doesn't come straight down. Both the snow builds up against the house, via the snow blowing, we called drifting. And rain sometimes goes sideways. So the rain is going to hit the house and it is going to run down. And we just don't want it affecting the foundation anymore. So this time we tiled around it to help get the drainage going out. So getting a little smarter as part of this process this time. But wow, that was a huge clap of thunder. The main portion of this, though, is we only got 3 sides of the house complete. We got on those 3 sides of the house, everything is filled, everything was cleaned, everything is filled, everything is dried, and we were able to push the dirt back in, lay the tiling, and we didn't get to pat any of the sides down, but that's all there. And on one side of the house, I even got to put up a temporary roof. I quickly made a frame for the roof that'll be off that side, that'll be over on the patio, the deck, the porch. I guess everybody goes, what is it? It's not a deck because it doesn't stick out and it's uncovered. It's not someplace to sit. It's a wraparound porch that is probably 10 foot, goes 10 foot off the building and has a roof that goes over it. On the back side, it is completely enclosed and has a door on the north side of the house because the weather comes through. And when we enclose it like that, we call it a mud room. And that's when you're getting your firewood, you're coming in from the day, everything else. You go into the mud room first. It's a dry place to take off your wet snow clothes, your boots. You stack extra wood inside there so you don't have to go outside into the wood barn or wood shed 10, 15 times in weather. So we restack the wood portion of the porch once a week, and we stack it with enough wood to cover that entire week So once a week, usually on Sunday after church or whatever, everybody goes outside. Everybody now being me, because everybody else either works or is away at college. But when I had 3 daughters, it was awesome. With 4 of us, it would literally take us about 30 minutes to stack a week's worth of wood. Now it's about an hour and a half for me to do it, especially if it's snowing and I got to trug it all from the woodshed over there by myself, because you do it by wheelbarrow load and it takes a little bit longer. But anyway, I have to get that back enclosed mud room completed, but it still sits on the same porch. You have to build the wraparound porch first. And I couldn't build a porch yet because we still have to finish bringing in more dirt. First of all, we're about 6 truckloads of dirt shy. The dirt we pushed in was enough to fill the hole, but it's not level, so I need about 6 more loads of dirt. We'll get that after we tap it down. We'll get that done. Then I'll have to get 2, 4, 6, 8 loads of gravel. That'll get out there and get spread. And once that's done, I can drop my pillars and start building the deck portion of the porch and then the roof over it. But since my house is now surrounded by dirt, dug up dirt, the rain that's getting ready to come right now is going to create mud. It's going to be disgusting over the next week until it dries out again, because it's not covered and it's all fresh. There's no grass. There's nothing to hold it or to keep you from getting completely muddy. So we are going to be just trucking through mud every time we go inside the house. Unacceptable. And we have dogs that are indoor dogs. And those dogs are going to want to go out and use the restroom, and they're going to go on walks with me, and they are going to want to come back in the house, and they are going to be muddy as hell. So while they were pushing dirt on the second side, I was building a frame for a roof coming off the north side of the back side of the house, threw some plywood over it, and then stapled some plastic on it to keep it a little more waterproof, and then rebuilt a small deck section with a couple of stairs. Because right now, even with the dirt refilled back in it, the door is almost 4 foot. The door is almost 4 foot from, not 4 foot, maybe 3 feet from the ground to where you enter the door. That's your lift around the house. So your thing with your porch base would go there, and you have to build steps up to it. Then you walk straight in your door. So I had to redo that. So there was something to keep us out of the mud, and then go from there. So yeah, so I feel good that we got 3 sides done, that we're getting closer and closer to getting done. I'm a little worried that I've got a 6-foot trench on the east side of my house that is going to get partially filled with water and is exposed. The good news is they did get the cracks filled and dried and everything else. And knowing that and on top of that, to make sure it had additional time to cure, they take a material almost like tar paper, like you'd put on your roof, and then put a sealer on it, and then put that over where they just did the cracks. And when you push dirt against it, it's not instantly getting dirt up against it. So that's there in place, which should keep it semi-dry as this rain starts. It's starting right now. But we're not going to be able to push dirt probably for, if this storm is as big as they say and it lasts 4 or 5 days, it's probably going to be 2 weeks before I'm maybe pushing dirt on that side. We'll have to wait and see. It depends on how fast the drainage goes and how wet the earth is. It's really hard to move a lot of wet mud, even with a like a skid loader or whatever. So that's where we are with the house. I really thought we were going to be able to beat this storm, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But 3 sides of the building, is filled, is done, is dirt's pushed back and secure. And so we're getting damn close to being able to completely move back into that place. So thank you guys for all being part of this epic situation. I think it's funny that right after we get all this done, we get a tornado warning again today. and we're still in tornado season. We probably have another month of tornado season. And hopefully there's not going to be any more tornadoes down south here, or super high winds. It would just suck to have spent all this money and then have another major storm breakthrough where it's actually does damage to the house. It's just gotten to the point where it's flipping ridiculous. All right, so dude, I don't know who you are, but okay. Anyway, hey, Missingo, just so you know, I did make you a moderator. You should be able to check, and you do have mod rights now. Yeah, let's talk about a couple of things that are interesting. So I should be on a plane right now to San Diego, and we were invited, obviously, to TwitchCon. Instead, I'm working on company stuff, and Trainer Club, or Billy, is on his way by himself to San Diego to try to get our business conducted. The goal here is to try to find as many Twitch streamers as we can, that also YouTube, because we're going to be going into the Christmas season, and we have a bunch of companies that okay, cool. Let's really try to find a time zone today that we can talk. We keep missing each other. I fall asleep, and then I see that you jumped online, so we can talk through me giving you full editing rights and me just going ahead and having you be part of the team. But we again, not the highest priority, but I'd love to nail this down the next week or so. So the goal is we need to start looking at collabs. We have a bunch of companies that are working with us. We have a bunch of content to shoot. They all sell product. They're looking for creators to work with them, not as an affiliate program, like an affiliate program. It's similar to an affiliate program, but where they'll be doing is talking about the product, doing product sales, things like that, of the ones that they like. But we want to do it both on YouTube, and we want to have some streaming events that we can build into this. And so the collabs are very important. Plus, as we go into beta with the company, we need to have people kicking the tires on the platform to make sure there's no major issues. So TwitchCon's kind of important to us. But yesterday, YouTube had its Made on YouTube event, and the company announced. Now, I believe everybody's known about this. They've been talking about this for 2 years now. It's been in development for 2 years, and it's finally launched. And so they announced their new dedicated space called Communities. And it's basically Discord connected to YouTube. The object, Discord came in and really took the wind out of a lot of social media channels' sales, because these social media channels, other than the chat, which is we deal with this crap all the time, really didn't give them a great place to communicate with their followers/fans without having to go to a different company, which is Discord. And Discord has been trying to find a way to monetize by expanding its abilities of being more than just a communication system, and everything else, and trying to do sales and trying to do all these different things. But unfortunately, while Twitch and everybody will allow you a certain level of integration in order to kind of move things back and forth, because we needed this, they're not stupid, and they realized every time you send someone away, it costs you people and costs you money. And so This will be released to everyone. Right now, it's only available to subscribers. But what you're going to be able to do is build your community place and be able to have videos and have direct chats and involved in those videos. I didn't have enough time to play with it, watch the announcement. I got all the stuff because we were going to go to YouTube's event. There's 4 events we were supposed to go to this year. We passed on all of them. We almost passed on TwitchCon. It is so late, but it's not, because YouTube is also, not last year, but the year before, announced that it's trying to do its own, going straight from advertising to a sales platform, which vendors can go there and work directly with those creators. And the YouTube creators will be able to directly select who's advertising and do more direct marketing and advertising via kind of like a TikTok shop, where you can pick the stuff, talk about it and everything else, and vice versa. And that is going to have some people utilizing all the tools. Now, is it going to knock Discord out of the market? Yeah, no, because Discord is so entrenched out there. But everybody said Kick wasn't going to be able to grow because they were so late to market. Kick is a gambling platform, but it's still picking up streamers on a fairly regular basis. Every time you offer a tool, a minimum of 10%, but sometimes higher, are going to try to use that tool to go ahead and make the experience easier and more seamless so they can monetize faster. Discord will then automatically make a pivot to figure out where their new place is, or how to offer more services so people don't switch from them. But there's also talk that Discord is looking at trying to create their own platform and have more video. And they're already been doing that. But again, at the end of the day, what a lot of these guys look for, is these companies merge all the time. I mean, Facebook now owns Instagram. It's like, that's part of the process when you build a company like that. Even my company was designed for us to run 4 to 5 years after we go live. And then to some of the tools that we've created and some of the things we're doing will take the platforms 2-3 years to catch up. And it's just easier to acquire us and take those tools than it is to try to rebuild it. So, it's good that Discord has just a huge audience. And then what you want to do is you want to have one of the big guys come to Discord and go, look, you've now been, the market is now has been divided up. And, as part of that fracture, being fractured and everything else, it's harder on you. So we would love to just buy you, and here's what we're willing to offer you. You watch, I will guarantee YouTube will put a bunch of money against this, because who owns YouTube? Is this is the parent company of YouTube used to failing, or are they afraid to throw money into things that sometimes even don't make sense? I think this is well backed. And YouTube also has to continue to establish itself in the communities market. And so I look at it like Microsoft. Every 5 years, everybody says Microsoft's going to disappear. Microsoft buys 2 or 3 different companies, like even Minecraft. And they do that. And that's by plan, right? Companies do this all the time. Coca-Cola, look at how many energy drinks came out, and then Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, they start buying them up. And then what they do is they take another brand that they like better or has higher margins or whatever, and they start moving it up and reducing the other one until they close the other one up. It's actually, from a business standpoint, it's a beautiful plan. If they were to buy Discord, they would just use Discord for a while to learn what all the tools are, integrate as many as they can, still run both. And if the number started swaying in their platform's favor, then you could get rid of Discord. If the numbers stay the same or Discord's still doing better, then they keep it. A la Instagram, right? It's like, some of these companies, Facebook, Google, they've bought 2 or 3 or 4 photo type platforms, and they either gut it and take the things that work and move it into whatever they're doing. Or if it's substantial, then they roll it out until it stops making money. But when you're a big company like that, speed to market, or the acquisition of a customer from an established company is sometimes way too expensive. It's better to acquire the company and acquire their billion subscribers and then move them over. And so I'm not saying, I did pretty good with my predictions this year. I'm about 2 months away from my 2025 predictions. I think I was at 80% on my predictions this year on economy and things like that. And again, I'm not some sort of genius. I just read what's going on in the news. 35 years in the business and doing stuff, I've seen the trends happen over and over and over again. It's secular. So again, people joke around and go, "My God, you're like Nostradamus predicting all this bad stuff." Yeah, no, I mean, there's no no magic formula or epiphany coming from because I'm getting information from somewhere in space or whatever else. It's literally looking at the data, looking at the last 10, 15 years and saying, okay, the last 3 cycles, this is what happened. You look at what's going on and going, okay, there's the cycle, and it's easy to predict. And I'm always happy when I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm above 80% this year, so that sucks. Our company was a little better prepared for it, but that's where it is. So anyway, Communities is launched, and they're testing it on like mobile devices, et cetera, et cetera. And then they will expand in 2025. Right now it's early access, and like I said, subscribers only. And in 2025, they'll roll out, I think they said 30 or 40% of the features, with the rest of the features rolling out additionally through 2025. They did not talk budget on what they're going to be spending. So I found that pretty interesting, and it'll be interesting to track this. Now, I am new to YouTube. My numbers aren't big enough I don't have a single subscriber, and that's okay. We haven't even started working on the YouTube channel. I'm still trying to figure out Twitch, but we are getting ready to launch a new Twitch and a new company. And like, I need another Twitch. We're with the companies that we're working for this year. We all met and we had some decisions, and we're launching a joint Twitch and a joint YouTube channel for the kind of like Billy's and Alexa's outdoor channel, but it's more of a product channel because we're spending a tremendous amount of money in 2025 on content. And so with as many companies as we are getting involved, we're doing a collab. And so we're going to create these new channels to have the traffic there, because we don't want the bickering of whose channel is this content going to go on. So it'll all go on this neutral channel, and then everybody will link up to it, and we'll get all that done. So when I saw this yesterday, I didn't get a chance to talk with Billy about it because he was trying to get a bunch of videos edited before he left. And but I watched this and I thought, okay, what we are going to need to do is, I think we are going to try this out. I don't like right now, I don't have a Discord for this show or what we're doing here. I have a Discord personally, and I use it for Pokemon Go and a couple of the games that we're doing, but I haven't really connected it to anything else that I'm doing because I just don't want to manage something else. I got too much to do, and that's not what's going on. But the conversation was that we were going to need to do the YouTube, Twitch, a TikTok. That's your marketing area. And then we'll probably have to hook it up to a Discord. So I'm thinking, do we not do the Discord and try Communities and see how it goes? Be part of the new launch group and give it a go. I'd be interested to hear what you think. I mean, obviously Missing O thinks it's going to be difficult, but I also believe he's very vested in Discord. He's probably spent a lot of time using Discord, building his community on Discord. I know Trainer Club is the same way. I know Alexa is the same way. And to go ahead and try to move your community over or to do something new, could be scary, or could be detrimental. I don't know, but that's always a possibility. Yeah, it's FOMO, right? Because the argument could be made that everybody under the age of 40, not everybody, a lot of people under the age of 40 dropped Facebook when I got on, not me personally, but my gen, as we got on there and we started going from a college platform, which was a semi-dating, find out where everybody is, FOMO platform, expanding outside the colleges to the general market, it being used by a younger generation to, oh, now grandma and grandpa have a Facebook page. Hundreds of millions, if not billions of people left Facebook, don't use it anymore, and have gone on to other platforms. Communities move to where the tools are easier to use, and their content creators or the people they follow move to as well. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. And what usually ends up happening is a bunch of people come up and they say, oh my God, I love this. I love this new tool. Communities is awesome. It's everything that we wanted from Discord, but it's now easier to use with my YouTube channel. And then people are going, oh, I'll try it. And then they see the communication flow or whatever it is works so well. And then they're spending more time on that and they stop using the old tool. So, I don't like predicting tech, because it used to be you could look at the infrastructure of the tech, the architecture, the ease of use and everything else, and make a prediction whether it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. And now it's all about FOMO. It's more art than science, which is very disturbing to me, because I would love for it to be more science than art, because that's easy or it's easier. But when I wake up in the morning and, Kim Kardashian, which I know she's not as relevant anymore. I can't think of anybody relevant because I don't follow, pop culture that much. But, somebody relevant goes out there and says, oh my God, I love this new platform, blah, blah, blah. And then this massive group of people goes over there. And then other, celebrity or pop culture icons go, okay, I'm going to do it too. And then it just starts moving. And that a lot of the time doesn't have anything to do with how good the system is, or if they have a good business model to even handle that sort of flow. Now, we all know YouTube's got the money. Mom and dad are not going to let them go under. They spend billions and billions on YouTube, even when it's not making money, because it gets traffic. So it's here to stay. They'll spend the money on this. If communities doesn't work, they'll learn enough off of it to do the next evolution, whatever they're going to call it. And I think eventually it'll become something. And I think as someone that's new to the business and going out there, I think it's a cool place to start. I don't mind taking chances. You can't take chances with everything, but you can take chances on some of the things. So anyway, there's our YouTube story, or the other story of the day. Yeah, the other one that I want to talk about, which might not be as interesting to our Canadians friends and our Aussie friends on here. I don't think I have any European friends. For a couple of days last week, or before I went off, I was having a couple of the European people that we go play with and everything else popping on here, which was kind of cool. They didn't know I was back on, so I'm going to start sending out messages again, letting everybody know the show's back on a daily basis, and see if I can get some of them back. But anyway, so yesterday also, the Federal Reserve, basically gave what I'm going to take a step back. In the United States, regardless of whether or not the government wants to admit it or not, we're in a recession. You can't. If you just run the numbers, look at everything, the real numbers, unemployment, the current unemployment numbers are probably twice as high as they're saying. And there's a bunch of news sources now that are coming out and they're confirming this, because the unemployment numbers you can give can either include, people that are on long-term unemployment or, are filing for unemployment, or sometimes they only count people that are new in unemployment within 90 days, and anything older than that period of time, they don't count anymore. There's all these kind of things to get the numbers where you want. But if you actually look at people that are unemployed in the United States, the number is astronomical. Our unemployment numbers are horrible. A lot of people just aren't being counted because they're out of work and they are no longer on unemployment because their unemployment is run out, or they are on the last 90 days of their unemployment. And so the current numbers don't reflect that. Or they're doing jobs like content creating, and they're counting those as physical jobs. Although if you actually take the numbers, because they, if you do everything on Twitch, you had to fill out your tax information. That number's getting reported in. The average person is making below what would be considered taxable income. So they actually have a zero taxable income for the year. And again, those people should not be counted. If you're making less than $5,000 a year and that's your annual income and that's your total annual income, then you're basically unemployed. So unemployment is so much worse. The interest rates have been super high and the stock market's been dropping. And so people, investors and companies and the people who watch this stuff have been saying, we need the interest rates cut. We need the interest rates cut. We need to see some stability and we need to get people buying houses and spending money. There was a report yesterday that came out that says the car market is about to crash in the US right now. Some dealers have 400 days worth of inventory unsold in their dealerships. And that's because COVID, again, we've talked about this multiple times, basic economics. COVID, people weren't going anywhere. Buying trends were up. Vehicles weren't traveling from overseas because there was a stoppage in transportation because there was nobody working. Things backed up. And then COVID's over. A flood of older models and cars came in. People started buying up the vehicles. Now you've got a dry spell because you don't buy a new car every year. So you got a lot of people who got great prices on cars, and then, here's what happened. And so, the car situation is the same thing here in the United States. Housing, massive housing drops. There's areas that they can't sell houses. They got this. So the Federal Reserve, did yesterday, surprising to me, did exactly what everybody was asking for. And basically, they announced that they were slashing interest rates by 50 basis points, which is way out of whack. I mean, I'm talking way out of whack for the current market. And they did this going into an election cycle. We're 60 days away. And an end of the year, which right now they're predicting record low sales for Christmas, so that affects the economy. So they did this to go ahead and try to show, actually, what the head of the Fed said, Powell, Federal Chair Powell. And I can never remember his first name. I always think of the General Colin Powell, and I can never remember the head of the Fed, but his last name is Powell, just like the General. And said, we're doing this because we want to bolster confidence in the economy because we are confident that we are headed towards a better economy end of this year in 2025 based on these election results. Okay. First off, you're the only person that has confidence. The Democrats don't have confidence in their candidate. The Republicans don't have confidence in their candidate. The Democrats are saying things that are getting our president shot at, our past president. It's the cuckoo's nest going out there. There is no one in America right now that I would say that is actually looking at what's going on and saying, I am confident that we're going to come out of this on top, right? Even if either one of these guys come out and they actually can do a good job, which one I think is crazy and the other I think is stupid. I won't tell you which one is which. One scares me because I don't believe they have the skill set, the knowledge to actually be president. And the other one has the acumen to be president, but I think it has gone off the reservation. So neither one of those are good situations. If you could combine the two, or you could throw away the two and get a semi sane / educated person to go in there, we'd probably be far better off. But both sides are so far, I mean, they're polar opposites. And the problem is they're at both ends of the polar extreme, but neither one of them can find the pole. Right? It's like and one of them should probably be dancing on the pole, quite honestly. But anyway, so the Fed comes in, makes this statement, cuts 50 base points off the rate, which again was meant to demonstrate the confidence in the current labor market and the recalibration of our monetary system and potential sales economics, blah 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 blah. And right after that announcement, they were expecting the Dow Jones and NASDAQ and everything to move up, which typically is what happens. I can't think of a time. I should research it because I'm speaking just off the top of my head. I can't remember a time where the Federal Reserve did a cut / did a slash this deep, and you didn't see Dow Jones, NASDAQ, S&P 500 turn around. But what happened yesterday is they make it, and the Dow Jones sank 0.25% immediately. The S&P sank 30%, 29, 28%. So it went like 25, 28, 32, respectively, I believe. And I'm 90% sure of the order, and I'm 80% sure of those numbers in that order. But it's always Dow Jones, NASDAQ, or Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and S&P, and then no. See, I've already confused myself. Dow Jones, S&P, and NASDAQ. Dow Jones, S&P. Yeah. Okay. Dow Jones, S&P, and NASDAQ. And then I believe it was 25, 28, 32 that they all dropped. And so if that shows, if nothing else, guys, that shows the lack of confidence by the entire country and the companies and the investment market in how deep of a hole we're in. I mean, we're not in a bad hole. We're in what the hole I have outside my house is a bad hole, and it's going to flood, and if it rains for the next couple of days, it's going to fill with water. It's going to be hard to it's going to cause potential problems. That's a bad situation. What this showed yesterday is people are like, oh, we don't have a 6-foot hole, 4 foot off, like that's not, we got like a 20-foot hole and it's 20 feet across, right? It's so much bigger to, there's so much more to backfill that, they said that they've got anywhere between another 25 and 100 base points that they plan on trying to do over, through 2025 to move us, move us ahead and create a more stable economy. But again, if 50 base points doesn't move the bar at all, 100, 125, 25 is not going to do it. Another 100 may, and start with the right people in place and the right things going on with the global economy. Because our economy is also, what's going against this is China, what's going on in Europe, what's going on in Israel. These countries, we depend on them, they depend on us. If right now the buying cycle is more about war footing and everything else than it is on anything else. Okay, we're almost at the hour, and I still have to do the card pull. So, yeah, I'm not sure. The next couple of days are going to be interesting through Friday. Yeah, we made a decision about not doing. We're supposed to be going to one more event this year. We're actually pulling back and going directly into planning for 2025. We made that final decision yesterday because at the events that we're going and the partners we're working with, and we talked about this 2-3 days ago, and also the week before last. These guys are seeing 30% decreases in their sales year over year, and they're going to these events. The prices are going up, the expenses are going up, but the volume of sales is going down. I met with one of our main vendors yesterday. It was supposed to be a 45-minute conversation. We were on the phone 3 hours as we ran through their numbers, and these guys they've lost about 46% of their sales year over year, and the advertising cost is almost doubled, and they're scratching their heads because they haven't even hit Black Friday through Christmas season is the biggest spend of the year, and they're already trending that far down, and they are scared about spending that much more money and having the sales sit where they are because you're going to be giving away product at almost break even. And so I have another call with them today to kind of go through some of our plans and what we're thinking to see if it kind of fits in their general concept, because we're not talking about Apple or a company that has lots and lots of money and they're on the stock market and they can do all kinds of things to do it. We're talking about, mom and pop people that have their livelihoods. This is either their job or their second job, and they've invested a lot of money to build up their businesses. And that's hard. And so, when when you look at the U.S. economy right now, their numbers show that we have 818,000 fewer people being employed than this time last year, and it's 800. That's not the total number. It's 818,000 more than the number that they stated. So they gave their number, and then as they've been going through all these Forbes and everything else, I've been going out there and looking at the calculations and looking at the data points to see what they're claiming is unemployment. The current number is saying we missed 818,000 and we're still looking. A million, let's just round it up to a million and say it's a million more people out of work than the government said. And it's trending that it's worse and worse every month. Wow. I mean, so that's kind of where we're at with all this stuff. I feel like it's the storm's coming here and the storm's coming there. And the information more information keeps leaking out the closer you get to the election. And they're going to try tricks like this where they're giving money, they're going to go ahead and play with try to fix inflation. They're going to try to do a couple things, and you're going to have a lot of other groups that are giving like lots and lots of warnings because, at the end of the day, you have to look at big picture. The economy. I laughed because I was on CNN yesterday. They're like, the economy is not as bad as everybody thinks, and I'm like, where are you pulling your data from? It's like even the Fed. You think that the Fed is doing this because the economy is in a good position? Anyway, confusing, crazy, whatever. All right, let's do our openings real quick, and then I am going to go and run home and see if I can cover anything and get anything done. Thank everybody yesterday for informing me that these do have a value. So now I'm putting them away. We're going to roll through this really quickly. Remember, what we are looking for is that puppy. I haven't told Billy that we're drawing cards to find that sucker yet, but I would love to be able to present it to him. All right, so we have Mediate. I can't read these going backwards. Clink. To Torner. Oh, and I was gonna Medimp. All right. I've never seen him before. And yesterday I drew a either a hollow or a reverse hollow of what he evolves into. This is the basic, yeah. And is he? Yeah, I seem to remember seeing him when we were in Ireland at a couple of places where they had the image, a Pokemon, and everybody was showing this Pokemon. Is that kind of we got Blair? Is that kind of like a leprechaun-y, impy sort of character? I'm trying to figure out. I was going to look him up because he's kind of cool looking, and I do remember seeing him in Ireland in a couple of stores. What is that? Tornadus. That one's a cool one. I actually like that one. All right, turn. Okay, so we didn't get it. Power card. Once again, I mean, we're only 6 pulls into this. I'm only doing 2 a day, so I'm not really. If I pulled it too early, I'd be shocked. I mean, like I said, I'd like to get several of these, but Applin, come on, Fletchling. I got to get a second camera. Next, very fat cat. Oh, everybody's knows Dubswell right now if you're playing Pokemon Go, because cool. Pangoro. I like Pangoro. Crispin. Gosh, damn it. I wish I could get the camera going. Dancy. Another Varoom, but this is the first reverse hollow I've gotten for Varoom. Here we go. No. All right. Well, that's actually, come on. That's actually a nice card. Cindrance. I'll take that. So those will all go into sleeves today, but still, we have not found the magic Pokemon. There is no Lapras so far. We will get it though. I feel like this week is the week. I'm thinking today's Thursday. I'm thinking Saturday. I'm gonna pull them. We should place a bet. Now I am gonna do something real quick. I started working on another section, and I started setting up the table, the counter. So all this right now, that's all. That's the swag from Hawaii. I've got 2 full. That's the second one. I've got the first one is completely full, which is over here in the other room, and then I overfilled the first rack that I have, which is my giveaway rack, and I decided, okay, I can't have all these boxes sitting here. I keep tripping over them, so I went and bought a second rack, and I'm amazed at how full the second one is, and I still have 2 boxes to go. And so we got some pretty good stuff over here. We've got 3 of the backpacks, 2 of the cooler packs, which are like, they're, I guess for lack of a better term, they are a soft ice chest. You pop them open, they expand about this wide, have Pokemon Go all over it, insulated inside. You put a couple of blue ice things inside there, and then they're for the beach. I think they sold it because you would take them to the beach and you're in Hawaii. So you keep your food cold. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 15 of the exclusive plushies that we out there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 matte combinations. And so one of the things they were selling, getting rid of in Hawaii, and I know I'm 8 minutes over, but I'm going to go ahead and, if you're on here, I'll be on in just a minute. I just want to finish this up. The mats there, they had the mats, your playing mats, and then also had the sleeves, and I think maybe it was just the mats and the sleeves. I have to look. And they sold it. You bought them individually, but they were combos. So like I've got a cool Gengar one It has Gengars all over it. And then you could buy your card sleeves to go with it. So your mat and your card sleeves matched. So we have the ones from Hawaii, which were Hawaiian exclusives. And then we have like there's 4 other models that they have. And when we give those away, we'll be giving them away in full sets. So you'll get, the mat and you'll get the card sleeves. So that way it's Gengar, as part of it. But we also, even the bags that you got the stuff in are really cool. You have the offer to either get the bags or not get the bags. We got them. And they have, I think all of them have the Pokemon Go Hawaiian World Finals on the bag, and then they're kind of like a IKEA really heavy duty recycled plastic bag, so you can probably use them for years. We decided we'll go ahead and give those away too. I was going to try to grab one, but we're late. I'll show it tomorrow. I'll bring one over here tomorrow. But anyway, I'm excited to start now that I've got all this stuff organized and I'm looking at these things. We're about 2 weeks until we're in October. So we're really getting into the season of giving. And so I'm looking forward to coming up with some ways to give away a bunch of this stuff. I think everybody got their stuff from the last giveaway, with the exception of Stormy Sparrow, because I found out the price of sending the stuff I need to send her up to Canada is as expensive as me just buying a round trip airline ticket. And it would take longer. So I'm actually looking at, over the next 60 days, picking a weekend that I can just shoot up, take a flight up to Canada, spend a day up there, maybe go play with her and some of the other people that we either know from online or we know. Billy might come up too. It's even a cheaper flight from him from Oregon. But yeah, it's like a round trip flight for me from here to where she lives is like, if you get it a week or 2 in advance, is like $300 to ship the items I need to ship her, because it wasn't just what she won. I have a couple other things that she had asked me to pick up for her at the last 2 events, and I've been holding on to them. It was like 200 and something with insurance and everything else. And it was going to take a while because you have to fill out all this customs paperwork. And I was just like, for $100 difference, I'll just go up there, because the day I leave, I know it'll go there. I can put it in her hands, and then I can go play in an area I've never played in before. So I guess that's going to be the plan. So she hasn't gotten her stuff yet, but everybody else got theirs. And I thank everybody for letting me know that they received their stuff. I wanted to say to Wifey, it looks like I got I went yesterday out to the mailbox. Mail's in town. So I've been out in the property doing the stuff with the house. So I haven't gone out and picked up mail in probably a week. So I walked out there and I saw the address and I looked at the writing, and it looks like a 13-year-old boy's writing. So I'm going to guess that the letter that we got is from Maddie. So thank him in advance you didn't have to send a thank you card or send anything. I really appreciate that. I'm going to wait to open it up until Billy and I are actually able to get on air together. We actually are together Monday night in California. We're doing a meeting in California after QuakeCon. And I think we're going to play in California Monday night. That would be 5 p.m. Monday night. If we do it at 7 p.m., if we're going to play, it'd probably be 7 p.m. California time, but I'm going to bring that with us so we can open it up, and we'll thank Maddie on air for it. But yeah, it was cool to actually go out to a mailbox, and I was like, oh, who's this? And I looked at it and I was like, okay, I'm not going to say where they live, where it was from, but I go, that address looks familiar. And I was like, oh, I just sent something there. And I looked back and I was like, oh, it's Maddie and Wifey. And it was like, I looked at the writing and I go, all right, it's from Maddie. I know he wrote this. So anyway, that was awesome. It was a great surprise. So yes, it was. That was a great surprise. It made me smile from ear to ear. Can't wait to open it. But when I told Bill, he's like, well, I want to be there when you open it. So we'll open it. We'll open it together. hopefully there's not like a chocolate bar or something in there that's going to melt. Just kidding. I doubt there is. But anyway, thank you. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys have a great, morning, afternoon, or evening, whichever applies to you. Always great to talk to you guys. I will be on tomorrow. And we will, let's all endeavor to, have a great day and make someone else's day. Peace.